would seem a little more in line with Buddhism than others. How do you find Native American cultures? Do you know much about their views on?
Actually, my understanding, like Buddhism is not really like it's like culture. Buddhism is like how you say the way of how you live, how you should live, and you can choose whatever you want in life you want, but you should see what is the effect. You have a sort of anger. What is that after the anger you have? You have disappointment and you have unhappiness. So it's like more like showing the fact. So because of that reason, then you shouldn't be angry. And that's not a culture. It's like way of living, way of the sort of intelligence, to try to see what to transform. But Tibetan culture, that where I'm from, or Nepali culture, there's some similarities definitely, like natives, paintings and sand, and particular native this Navajo or some from Hopis, Indians, and this is quite similar. And the hair, the male put the long hair too, and they how you say, they make this
braids.
Yeah, braids and all these things. They're very similar.
Right. How does Buddhism view the purpose of being alive? You're saying that it's mostly how you treat the moment, or is there a structure?
I think it's really like depend on the individual person, and I really think that Buddhism teachings has some structure, and Buddhism teachings has that make you free from that structure too. So the Buddhism is not only like caught into structure or free from like structure, but Buddhism has both element. But the purpose is Buddhism actually make you ask. Buddhism going to teach you. You should ask yourself a question: what is the meaning of your life? What really means to you have this happiness? What really you think is happiness is? The things that you like to buy is happiness for you. Some culture believe listen to family, provide family food and clothes, and that is their meaning of life. And some culture make fun, do whatever you want. That is a meaningful life. Some people thinking to benefit others is meaning of life. There are many varieties. But then Buddhism I feel that Buddhism really like to see what is the fact. Again, go back to the fact. You do things whatever you want, but really make you happy. You can live life whatever you want, but makes you really happy. But happy means, do you feel comfortable? Do you feel worthy? When you die, do you have this dignity with yourself? When you live life, you have this comfortableness with a still mind. Do you have that? That is the Buddhist questions. And that, I think, any culture, any modern society, I feel that is really understandable. Particular 21st century, it's more sense, make more sense. And especially, you can sort of discover your way, your style. But they have a structure, definitely. Like they have a structure to go in. Like any culture, they have a structure. It's a human nature, You need to learn one by one, structure by structure. First, you cannot walk, you crawl. After you crawl, you start slowly, very grumpy walking. Then slowly you walk. Physically, mentally, all similar, same. You don't have a structure to grow.
So the first step, it sounds like, is to become aware of your own behavior. Is that what you're suggesting? The first step is to, like, for instance, do you have moments of irritation, of conflict, of
definitely.
And how do you, when you have that moment and you feel that contraction within you, or whatever way you feel it, what do you do?
In the beginning, what usually the best way should do is, do you really, when things happen like anger or disappointment, or somebody make you upset, or you feel like somebody taking advantage from you, for example, just put in that level, and I feel like I noticed that, I felt that, then really like normal emotion, I try to confront it or try to defend it, defend. But Buddhist says, don't judge. When you start judging, means you start thinking, feeling, emotion again and again, and you just go around with, produce more and more circle emotions. Doesn't stops, it doesn't end. So you don't feel happier, you don't feel calmer, you don't feel like your life or purpose of life is gone. But Buddhism says try to notice what is like me myself, same. Somebody make me angry. I notice my anger. Nowadays, much better. Notice, moment that I notice, I let go, I rest. Nowadays, my anger really not so long. Like before, I'm very short temper. My anger stays like almost like day, two, angry every throughout. Nowadays, like longest I have is like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, sometimes that 1 minute, few minutes, that's it.
So would you say that's a mental perspective, or is it something else? Because you have actual practices that help you to
it's both.
To hone a place that you do perceive from, right?
It's both. You need to have a prepare. You need to prepare yourself. First of all, what kind of preparation is, you shouldn't believe what other people say as a spiritual teacher. Don't believe right away the spiritual teacher. But same time, don't believe yourself too. You should completely open and listen what they say. And look at in yourself, day-to-day life, what is going on. And the knowledge is right now, the knowledge is not with you. Knowledge is with that spiritual people. So they're going to give you the message. So you listen, and you day-to-day you look, what is going on with you? Then they have something that really you want to learn. You see this fact, you see this valid. Then you try to go deeper, to learn more, and really like practice meditation, mind training, meditation, and all wholeness of the practice there, Buddhism, just for that. Principally, I like to touch is like rituals. In the West, they say, oh, we don't like rituals. We hate. We don't feel comfortable with religion, and we don't feel comfortable with rituals. But for me, ritual is that people have a same feeling and belief in something and purpose, and you just physically, verbally, and emotionally, you just act with that feeling. That is a ritual. Like going to nightclub. I see it's like a modern ritual. Everybody knows nightclub. They pay for the bouncer people and you go into that, and they have light shooting, ding, 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 and everybody, 100 people jumping around, Mm-hmm. It's a rituals too. But then this ritual, what is the purpose of that? Right. It make you happy for that. After a few hours, you feel a little bit tired, and you're happy a little bit. That's it. But then all the Buddhist part of the expression, the physical expression, the verbally expression, like physically, like prostrating, is wholeness understanding is the prostrating is actually indirectly to reduce your own pride. For example, whole purpose is that chanting mantra, holding the beats, prayer beats, keep reminding yourself what is your practice, what is your meaning of life, what is your practice. That's why everything has these effects, and that is a ritual. And the ritual serves the purpose of meditation. Meditation serves to change the mind. The mind changes, you have a meaning life. So that is a wholeness. So this is what I say.
So it actually brings me to humility, which is something I want to bring up. Humility for all sort of spiritual belief systems, it's an important thing.
What is humility?
Humility. Well, what you were just saying, to be humble, to... why is that important for us, for people? Why is that important?
Basically, just look at it like normal life. Just look at first normal life. Don't look at the part only religious part. Just normal life. Like look at specific in life, say the relationship. Like man to woman relation, love life, relationship life. What is the common problem is in day to day? That common problem of the the create more problem is my idea is better than you, and my idea you should respect. And both have the same idea, means same that kind of ego, same kind of that pride. And what kind of life you have? Not many happiness. Yes or no, don't believe me, of course. You should look at your life, yeah. And of course Buddhism says you should be very humble and that, but the humbleness, you need to be genuine. But then the people doesn't understand genuine. Buddhism says, the Buddhist teaching, the practice actually mean genuine, meaning being sincere to yourself. Means you see your ego, you recognize that is ego, and you admit, yes, I have ego. Then, very unique, we have this pride or that kind of dignity, the strength. Yes, I'm going to change this, my ego. I'm going to change. Change means I'm going to put less. There's so many practitioners, Buddhist practitioners, they are very humble, but they are not low esteem of self. How do you say it? Low self-esteem, no self-esteem, or humble with punishment themselves, or feel loneliness. They don't have the problem,
right,
because they have the dignity in the gut. They have dignity, but the dignity is not pride, because they don't look other people down. So that is, I call, spirituality, because mentally you cannot achieve that in normal life. So you need spirituality to gain that, perfect that mundane life.
I think another word for that might be will. Would you agree?
Will is good, but will is not dignity. Will to practice doesn't mean you have the dignity, but the will is a very important door to gain the dignity.
Cool.
Yeah.
How would you describe the creative force? Do you have a name for that? I don't know if you call it God or you call it, if there is a name for it. But how would you describe that force in the universe and its effect on all of us?
Cause and effect. Karma. And why is everything happen? Cause and effect. Karma.
Is that a force?
Force, of course, a force.
Is that the force you access in meditation?
No.
No?
No. Most important part is, of course, we like to say the universe is actually, nowadays I saw a movie called The Secret. They says you need to think the positive and the part, and then whole the universe going to prepare for you something. Very nice. Yes, yes. But the whole universe that you're talking about in the meditation point of view is your mind. So your mind have the will, your mind can feel that goal in your hand. You can succeed because you have this will and the dignity that you have this feeling that I can do it. Likewise, we say it's the power of the mind. That is a fact. You look at yourself, it's your mind who decides. It's very clear. You don't need to go, really universe preparing or not, I don't know. It's nice to say the universe preparing for me. I hope please prepare for me something, because I have big wish, I'm sending up to the universe many times. But wherever you want to send, whoever creating, doesn't matter. But the fact is that right now that you can feel, you can see, you can fact, valid is, you can experience. Your mind are happier, everything is happy. Your mind have this feeling of successfulness. You can be successful. Mind is completely full of emotions and judgments and egos. What kind of mind you have? Very, third world mind. Not first world, third world mind.
So what do you do to develop a first world mind?
First you try to see what to develop.
What?
What to develop. First try to see what to develop. Try to see what kind of person I am. Short temper, narrow minded, little bit liar, or a little bit truthful. Try to see what good quality that you have, and try to see what is bad quality that you have. And the most important part, you don't judge, you notice. So that is again is very big important to remember. Noticing means like you see it, but you don't have no extra emotions. You see it's good, or you see I bad, okay, I want to change. So with that understanding, you try to see what is your problem with you, what is the fact right now that is having that problem, what is the real fact that I'm seeing this. Everything you see, then there has many ways. Mind training based on compassion, mind training that it can reduce your ego clinging, mind training that it can reduce your judgment, mind training can reduce your emotions. There are many practices with meditation. That is all method you try to apply, antidotes, and try to see the transformations.
So would you say that there is an overall purpose for what we're all doing here?
Yes, definitely.
How would you describe that purpose?
The purpose is very simple. Be happy, try to make other people happy, and don't judge too much.
Beyond that, what's the purpose?
Beyond that.
Yeah, because that's like
Beyond,
you say, that's the first step, right?
Yes.
That's the opening,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
Once you're there, where are you going?
You don't go nowhere. Because first of all, who's there to go? Who's there? Who's going? They should have somebody to go beyond. Somebody should be there to go beyond. But we don't find somebody there before, then who's going there? Nobody's going. That is what we're going to say.
In your lineage and
Yeah.
in your history of,
Yeah.
of all the people that have practiced your discipline or
Mm-hmm.
your belief, there must be people who have gained certain levels of awareness.
Yes, definitely.
And I'm sure that they've there's much different levels from that first beginning stage of.
Definitely.
What would you say that yourself that you're still at that first beginning stage?
I am I think above the beginning stage.
And what's the experience of the
Meditation.
world from that stage?
Honestly speaking, I see the quality. I see everybody's quality, the good quality. I have very sort of not so much, or how you say, compassion. That not so much, not so much judgment. The mind is very flexible. Your ego is not that strong. Sometimes physical pain. Of course, I feel pain, but it doesn't really affect very much. But I feel discomfort, but doesn't really take over my mind. And gain some respectful. Whenever I see some small negativity changes or little bit medium size movement that I recognize, I let go, I rest. Like that. I'm not really improved very big, but I think I feel like I know that I'm in the medium class.
So when you see that the world is full of conflict,
Yes.
and environmentally speaking, I mean, it looks like the world's heading towards some pretty intensely stressful times on our species in lots of ways. How do you look at that? I imagine you're clear enough to see that you see people, like you said, at third world minds trying to figure out problems that have got to do with their survival, and I'm not doing a very good job of it. But how do you see it? How do you see the world today? The world of people?
Some part good, some part bad. The good part of the goodness, mostly goodness, is everybody like to be happy. And they're trying their best to be happy. They don't know what is they're doing, but they have this one part. And individually they have a good part, good qualities. But my worry is the education of the human being, humankind. I feel that somebody need to work with educations. All the countries or government, whoever they are, I don't know, but United Nations, they really should be focused educations. Education of that really teaching moral, individual, moral-based, compassion kind of educations. Without that education, just name of religious, including Buddhism, having this religion issues or non-religion, I think we're going to have a very big, difficult life. But then with that education, definitely I have a much more sort of happier. Definitely it's changing. Very sad to see the war and fighting and killing and all these things. But somehow everybody like to live life with happy, Nobody wants somebody come in a house and kill your children and wife and yourself, yeah? Nobody likes that.
Do you see that everything is just evolving as it should? In other words, all this conflict, it seems like...
I feel it's going to be much better than that. Really, people whoever running this, everything that in the country-wise and the globally-wise, they have some kind of kind mind, some kind of feeling, Definitely they can put their feelings, their suffering, and they don't, with that compassion, understanding, not only compassion, but understanding, and some kind of good heartedness. Really, you're going to have a much better world, much better than now. But the problem is, human being, because of our ignorance, we don't see clear. And I have ignorance too, So I see some people much more strong ignorance and pride. It's a problem.
And obviously you feel compelled to have some sort of an effect on the world because you go around and try to share your perspective.
Yes.
right?
Yes, yeah, particular Tibetan Buddhism based in Vajrayana is that, in Buddha giving teachings, there are two set. One is a Sutra and Sutrayana, one is called Vajrayana. So the Vajrayana, the teaching, the Tibetan Buddhism, like myself, our main commitment, we have 14 commitments. Commitment means like vow. So one of the vow is don't criticize other religion. Second vow, don't reject one being. Try to benefit how much you can. Not a perfect, but try to be perfect. Number third, don't criticize a woman. It's already in the vow of Vajrayana teachings. And other than that, respect the Buddha's teachings, don't make discrimination. But we love to debate, because debate makes you understand. That we like to debate, but we don't like to make criticize with anger and jealousies. That makes your mind narrow, and ego narrow, ignorance is very clear. So that's why our main practice, a vow, is one of them is like that. So that, of course, when I'm traveling, I teach the same thing like that. And not only just belief. We don't like to teach them belief. We like to teach fact. Particularly in the West, not many people like to believe. They like to believe in fact. In the Buddhist teaching, they give you fact. You do it, you're good. You have, thirsty, drink water. You don't need to believe. You know that water is going to solve your problem of thirst. Likewise, Buddhist teachings or our meditation teachings is you don't need to believe. Just do. You're going to see the results.
So what is your perspective on why our species, it seems like no other species has this issue, where we have something that actually is separate from everything that flows? In other words, the ego. What is the ego? What is that force in all of us that is separate from the other part?
Which other part?
The other part that it seems that we have to... What's the purpose of ego? Maybe that's a better question. What is the purpose of having an ego?
What is the purpose of ego?
Mm-hmm.
To make more trouble.
Is suffering a useful thing?
Suffering is useful, yes. At the beginning, when you are smart enough. When you're not smart enough, suffering is not good. You suffer a lot. Like people say, learn from mistakes. These are people who have intelligence. Not wisdom, just having intelligence. They say, learn from mistakes. You mistake, then you improve why you did the mistake. But in Buddhism, we use exactly the same method. Because you have the ego, what you really solve the problem. Because you have the ego, what you achieve. You look, everything we create a meaning of life, actually, based on the ego. But we never ask the ego, what is the ego? Where did ego come from? Who created this ego? Ego exists independently? Or ego is because I'm believing ego is there? Nobody knows it. Buddhism talk about the ego very clearly. It says, think about it. You check, you investigate. Where the ego is? In physical? In the mind? In the name? Interesting part is, when your small baby give birth, from the mother's womb, then you start calling, Jessica, Jessica. After 6 months, Jessica, yeah. They look at you, After 2 years later, Jessica, yeah, Tata, yeah, Mama, So you already implant that identity of Jessica. But that person in the beginning born, no Jessica idea. But you create that. In a plus, you put many different identity. You are American, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're all like that. It's good. Why not? But what is the purpose of serve? Really that serve your meaningful life? And all the meaning of life nowadays in the world based on that. That's why everybody says, my way is the right, my life, my purpose of life is the best. You are wrong. But Buddhism says, you have that purpose of life. You already have that. Why you need to disrespect other people's purpose of life then? That means your ego purpose is make trouble. They want to make trouble. You really want to make no trouble, you should be completely free and completely happy and completely meaningful. But no, you think that you have meaningful, but you're corrupting other people. That's why Buddhism says, try to reduce your ego clinging. Your life of purpose comes all together. And try to benefit others. Try to make yourself happy. Live life like in North America. Religious rights, this right, that rights, and all this kind of stuff. But with nice way, in happiness, compassion, understanding. Try to help the world without any demand. Try to help the world, third world countries. Give the money, support, but without any hook. Do nicely. Then it's very nice.
So what fills in that space once it's gone? And also, like when you're meditating, when you go into a deep meditation, what are you accessing? What's your perspective of the world when you're completely free of that loop?
No world. No loop. No world. That moment, completely free. Everything exists because of in the mind. Our thought. Our mind clinging, concept, perception, concept that holds the world. So when you let go, we don't meditate, we just let go, relax, relax, let go of your mind, not the past, not the future, not the present, slowly rest, very naturally. And the moment that calmness, clearness, and you just rest there. Without any imagining, without any feeling, without any creating, without any big drums, big bass, we rest calmly. That is amazing. You believe, you imagine, of course, you're going to feel something. You sit on the big bass drum, and I drum other side. You're going to feel vibration. Boom, 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 boom. All your goosebumps going to come. That is spirituality. Buddhism says no. That is the mind. You feel the feeling because of the vibration. But the real thing, make you calmer, relax, let go. They have a technique, but I can't talk too much. But first you bring up focus. You're focused, somewhere in the mental or object. Then slowly you let go of the focus to the object and you rest. Then just short moment, spacious, clarity. And that is nobody created. I didn't create. Buddha didn't create. Buddha, he said very clearly, I didn't create that. Nobody created. That is the natural state of the mind. How? Why natural? Because your mind is resting. That is the nature of the mind. Mind start looking something. It's not natural. Just rest. Moment that calm, moment that sharpness is not a zombie. Everybody worry meditation is like a zombie. It's not a zombie. Whoever thinking zombie, they are having some problem. They should come learn more deeper. Rest. Moment that calmness, relax. All concepts. Just short moment usually. Then concept come back like a habit. Then again you let go. Relax. Then, like my teacher, he's like this all the time. Like that. Very kind. No discrimination. No rejecting. He go to Hindu temple, very good. Everything's not. Why? Because no ego. No concepts.
Is there no impulse to do something else with that? No, I guess what I'm asking.
Compassion. After that.
So what's the active part of that feeling?
Compassion. Generosity. Very clear discipline. You don't want to do mistakes. You don't want to harm people. You have much deeper understanding. You say, oh, poor people, beings, they know this kind of natural state. They're going to be much happier in their life. Poor people, they try to search. Many people die searching. Poor people, they cannot just rest. Genuine compassion. No discrimination, because no ego present. Completely joy, generosity. Really happening to people. Not only just giving people food or shelter, really in the inner nature, showing the inner nature. You have yourself in the nature right now. Just as you need to learn little bit practice to see it. That's it. I'm not telling you to believe me. Believe. this point, belief is poison.
So some cultures that practice similar methods to you, the same methods of turning off the internal dialogue is what they would call it, shutting that off.
We don't say shutting off.
No?
No. Because the word how you use is very important. Blank, keep blank, shut up, shut down. We say there's nothing there to shut down, just rest. Beginning we need to just rest, to natural state. This is English word. In Tibetan we say Maju Nyungma. Nyungma, natural. Maju Nyungma. Harangbab, rest naturally. Oh. The word, very important. Word shows how much deep insight you have. Just talking doesn't show you are deep in understanding. Show me. Show me the path. I can create religion now, my own religion, no problem. But show me the steps clearly to gain that realization. That you don't have it. Talking, everybody can do. You can start a religion too. With your name.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, huh?
No, that's good. So some of these questions would not be applicable, because I was going to ask you, do you ever get discouraged with what you see? But I guess that would be another one of those ego contractions that you would just...
No, sometimes I have a little bit of feeling, sort of feeling that, oh, poor guy, what is happening, Some beginning level, I have a compassion with anger. I have a compassion to the weak people. I have anger with the strong people who's beating the weak people. But that is not the right compassion, we say. We say the compassion of discrimination compassion, ego compassion, not good.
Right.
So our real compassion is called great compassion, without any discrimination, without the strong people have suffering too, mentally suffering. Ego here, they have an ego. When you have ego, you have fear. That is 100% sure. So poor people, the weaker one, poor, strong one, and poor too. That now I have this more compassion. Yes. Now improve. Before, no. Before I don't have that. Now I improve. Yeah, I practice little bit how much I can. Not like a great master, not like my master, but I do little bit how much I can.
It's interesting talking to you, because usually when I'm talking to other religious people, I'm speaking to them, but they're speaking from the point of view of all the information that they have. So I ask every single one of them have you had an experience of what you're talking about. I mean, they talk about what God wants, or how God sees things, and none of them have ever experienced God. It seems like you don't go any further than where you are. Is that sort of...
We can go a little further. I can go a little further, because I don't have no stableness, in the natural state. I have little bit. Sometimes I'm grumpy. I have little bit mood off. You see, I have little judgment. Nowadays I'm looking for my judgment. That's why that means I'm not stable. So I can improve much better than nothing, no judgment. Negative emotion, I don't have no much. Now I quite reduced desire. Beginning, I have a little bit higher desire. So now a little bit less. So it's good. But I don't be happy. I don't go like, I tame my desire. We don't say like that. You know why? We don't go hybrid up. We don't go down. We don't say, I'm failure. I'm not going to say that. We're not going to do that. I call great master attitude. Something that you see very positive, you say, thank you very much. Something you feel failure, thank you very much. Keep still. That is the life. Comfortableness. When you have that, life becomes happier. That is the most important technique, most important key point for meditation to improve. That is what we do. That I do. So I can see, definitely I have much further to go, like my teacher.
It's kind of a paradox in a way. Do you know the word paradox?
I know.
In the way that you're not supposed to desire anything, and yet you do desire to be happier, clearer.
I'm not desire to happy. Yeah.
Or compelled, maybe compelled?
You're absolutely right. I 100% I agree with you. Definitely, yes. I have that. Yes, definitely I should have that now, because I need to improve. But furthermore, within 5 to 10 years, I'm going to say, I'm not sure. I don't know. 5, 10 years, 20 years, I don't know. But I do practice well. Definitely, I absolutely, I agree with you. Beginning, we all should have some hope, some kind of to achieve. That's how you gain improvement. But the real goal no? In the meditation point of view, is free from hope and fear. The moment that I reach the nature state, you know, when I'm meditating, that moment actually in the nature state, the clarity, spaciousness, clarity, emptiness, you can say empty, spaciousness, clarity, moment that you don't have no hope, you don't have no person hoping, you don't have no Buddha, you don't have nothing. But you can't say nothing too. You see, there's something too, there's a clarity. So you maintain that. That moment, you don't have no hope and fear. So I can maintain that day to night, no problem. I don't need hope and fear. So definitely I need some kind of hope to gain improvement. In the beginning, definitely. Every spiritual practitioner, particularly Buddhism, says, may all sentient beings free from, particularly Tibetan Buddhism, may all sentient beings free from suffering, cause of suffering, attain enlightenment of realization, because of that reason I'm going to do this, you know. They try to keep up that kind of, you know, motivation. Most of the times fake, but it's good just to keep reminding, you know.
That's why I was asking about the structure of your, I don't even know what the right words to use. Not levels of awareness.
Yes, level, yes.
Well, maybe
yes.
okay, levels. The opening level, I would imagine, is finding the ego and using that as contrast to discover yourself.
Yes, yes.
So, what's the next stage?
Meditation. After that, you need to meditate. But of course, they have meditation 2 levels. Training meditation means sitting meditation. Then you have post meditation, practice time, day-to-day life. And you're checking your emotion, judgment, negative. Then we're going to tell you, first you're going to see this, after that you're going to see this, after this, you know, negative emotion, where the negative emotion based in, you think? It's judgment. Right now I'm judging you, say I judge you, I don't like how you look at me. Huh? Oh, I like you, wow, how you look at me. Say, judgment. So the all negative emotion that we have is based on judgment. Now the judgment based on what? Where? Ego. But where's ego? Nobody knows it. Because we don't think about it. We just believe in. That's why in the world I usually say that one religion is the biggest in the whole religion in the world. Is the egoism. Everybody has ego. Nobody asks the question on that. Non-believer, they say, hate every religion in the earth. But they have the ego religion. You see? So the ego, judgment based on the ego. But nobody see the ego. Nobody search for ego. What is the essence of ego? Where is the ego? Why they don't do that so much? Because of ignorance. Ignorance means, you don't see clear. You see? So now you can see level by level. So we teach in the meditation how to calm the negative emotion first. Then we're going to teach you how to calm the judgment. Then we're going to use meditation to ego reduce. Then the ignorant. So the meditation, we only have 2 systems. Shamatha means focus. Shamatha meditation means focus meditation. You have physical object. You have breath to focus. After breath, you have a mental object. After mental object, you have non-focus meditation shamatha. Natural state without no focusing. That is number shamatha. Vipassana meditation, we have called search ego. Search your ego, search your emotion, where the emotion arising first. Second, search your ego, where is ego. Number 3, then we try to point out natural state of your mind through the meditation. We don't need belief. Belief is who people don't have no idea and they believe. Like in Buddhism, we have many, massive follower, like my people, Tibetan, and many people. We just believe. We know Buddhism is good, so we believe. We never ask questions. Yes, but in the meditation teachings, belief is not important. The fact, understanding, the certainty. Buddha, his own word in sutra. The sutra means his text. Name is called I can quote it. I can quote.
Sure.
Yeah. Buddha Sutra teachings name called the Sutra of Faith. Sutra of Faith is the one teaching. He says, without understanding well, without your knowledge, you're not going to have a perfect faith. Mean the faith is you need to gain knowledge. That means certainty. that we use faith in certain things. That's in the West, when you say faith, oh, that's it, It's like understanding the word, It's like you understand differently here. So that is steps. Shamatha, Vipassana meditation.
So what's past ego?
After past ego, ignorance. In our meditation, we have two kinds of ignorance. Yes.
Can you describe those?
It's too subtle.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. When you do no meditation, it's just a word.
Yeah.
In the meditation, and then you go like this. When you go meditation, you say yes, yes. Just say. I don't need to prove. Just say yeah. But when you do meditation, okay, oh, interesting. But it's just empty word.
It sounds almost like what you're doing is practicing the ability to be fully
perfected
and focused.
Beginning focus, yes.
Right.
After we don't focus.
Right.
Yeah. By quality of some subtle focus, but not really focus. Yeah. Focusing is the beginning practice.
Okay, that's why you would speak it, I suppose. Is that why?
Right now, of course, I'm not meditating. Yeah, I'm
right.
talking with you.
Yeah.
I'm not like my teacher. My teacher usually meditate and teach, but they speak slow. Me, no. I'm not meditating now. I'm just completely, not judging, but completely into you.
Cool. Would you say that the earth is a living entity?
Earth itself? I think so. I think everything is a living entity.
But Buddhism doesn't have the Buddhist texts don't have a specific.
No, we don't say that. But we all say we do say all sentient beings. So Earth has mind. So Earth is living being. But I think, of course, Earth is living being, but not sentient being with the mind. Yeah, I don't know. I think somebody can feel Earth talking with them. I think Earth is mind. We don't reject ideas. Buddhism, we don't reject people's ideas. Like Buddhism says, the whole world starts saying that Earth is flat. We accept that. Earth is not flat; it's round. Okay, I will accept that too. Yes. Buddha talk about Earth is flat and round both. So Buddha don't reject too much. This is a philosophical idea. We don't debate so much of mundane life. We don't not going to debate saying that fire is not hot. We're not going to debate that. Fire is hot.
What I'm trying to do with this whole project is trying to provide contrast of perspectives of being alive. So the Buddhist perspective obviously is a very unique one, and in a way, from talking to you, it doesn't really go any further than where you are right now.
Yes.
Whereas a lot of other religions, there's pressure on you from all angles to behave a certain way.
Buddhism, no, but definitely Buddhism of course they have a behavior. Of course, you need to have a good behavior. Buddhism cannot go running around naked. Yeah, Of course, you need to have a good behavior. Definitely, you should have a good behavior.
But it's
don't put the naked one. Okay. People going to put me in a black spot. Just kidding.
So what is your views on sex?
What is the view? Okay.
How do you view the purpose of sex?
Whatever the person is thinking, that is the purpose of sex. Somebody want to torture, it's a torturing sex. Somebody want to enjoyment sex. So it's whatever person is thinking. Person who's doing sex for enlightenment, enlightenment sex. So who knows? Purpose changes the mind, not the action. The purpose is the mind who sees what. The action is just go along with that. That's what Buddha really tried to mention very clearly, that not only motivation you should be clear, but the action should be very careful too. That's what we must in our life, like giving, for example, like say compassion. Everybody notice compassion. Compassion must need egoless. Compassion must need judgmentless. Compassion must need strength, means dignity, strength. Compassion must need skillful means, skillful way of approach. Compassion must need aspiration. So compassion need that all these 5 entities, 5 qualities. Without that, just thinking compassion is not perfect compassion. We say it's just normal compassion in Buddhism training, in a meditation training practice point of view.
Well, that's another paradox, isn't it, of Buddhism? Because you spend your whole lives kind of focusing on the self only to and your seems like your greatest gift is to
teaching.
Is
the first is teaching, yes. The first is teaching. And second, nowadays we're doing a lot of charity work, definitely. But not so much, but we're doing how much we can. But most important, the value of the Buddhist teaching is the mind, the way of thinking. And that is a yes or no. You can look in your own world. The first world country, now you have much more mental problems. And they shows very clearly. Third world country, they have physical problems. That is 100% sure. So the Buddhist is, again, is a balancing. You need physical body to live life comfortably. But you shouldn't have completely like first world country that rejecting this kind of mental life. Now look at your life in the world, first world country. How many? I have actually met one of my friends 2.5 years ago, and we're discussing about things, mental things. And I don't know how much that's true, but my friend told me that in America or some places they did research in semi-depressed or depressed people, recording of their voice without the patient notice, 24 hours recording. So when they listen to the recording, they talk about it, I, me, 4 times more than normal people. And mentally can be much more. But who says when you think too much about yourself, it's going to create more problem? Who says that? Buddha. 2,600 years ago he said it. Don't have too much egoistic, you're going to have problem. But then just talking doesn't solve the problem. You must show the path. What you just said. That is the path. So that's why Buddhism says you need to make little bit perfect yourself. Then you can serve others much better. And be serving day by day, but we need to spend time a little bit yourself too. Because your mind is a little bit shaky, emotional, and you try to do something other people, it's become not really genuine, not real. It's a little bit fake. So that's why we all the time we look, we try to see negative quality, we reduce, we have dignity. Yes, I can change. Within this year, month, today, we're going to change that. That will Buddhism practitioner have. Why? Innate nature is clear. Innate nature is spacious. That's why. In subtle bliss.
So
bliss.
So you must notice a big difference when you're dealing with Westerners, when you're coming against their perception of reality.
In the beginning, definitely I faced a little bit like a difficulty to not understand well, but now I understand so well. Actually, Western, the 21st century and the Western mind, I feel is quite good for the Buddhism. Because Buddhism teaching is not really based on belief. So we need somebody to have engaged in that. In Buddhism, Western people ask all the time questions. The good part is very good. You ask questions, we give you answer, no problem. But the problem is you never end the question. That is the problem. So Buddhism says we should ask until you get the answer. When you get the answer, you start meditate. But then some people never end the questions. That's the problem. But at beginning level, asking questions, having a doubt, perfect. Most important. That's what Buddha said himself. He to his students. He said for his own word, saying that, please don't believe me. He said, don't believe me. You know that, yeah? Don't believe me what I say. Don't put my teaching right away in your head. Investigate like a goldsmith. Check the gold. Is it real gold or fake? Means it's fact or not. If you think it's a real gold, keep it. It's not real, just go your way. He gave that. That's why, for me, my personally, that is the most encouragement to me. Because I was a very egoistic philosopher, plus arrogant and quite intelligent. I'm not so stupid, in the class, In the world, I'm stupid, yeah. In the class, I'm not that bad. Then Buddha said this, it made me so nice, so happy. Pacific, my meditation teacher, perfect. He says, don't believe me, my boy. Just practice. And I meditate. That's it. My ego changed, my pride changed, everything changed. Mm-hmm.
Is that something that's cumulative?
Yes. You need to accumulate, yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you have any sense of why or how humans have become so separated have two distinct selves? We kind of touched on it earlier. We were talking about the ego, and you're saying that everybody asks what it is. I don't know if you gave an answer of what it really is. I know that I can tell you that other cultures describe it as a foreign thing that actually feeds on our energy.
Ego is a foreign thing.
It's a foreign thing. That's what a Native American culture says. It's actually not us. It's actually something else. I don't know if that's
not bad.
See, I know that
not bad idea.
See, I think that my impression is that Buddhism has this message that you give to the world, because compassion is always a good message. But it's a message that only goes so deep with people, right? Because everybody knows that's what we should all be doing. But there's probably a more is there a more ruthless message that you have? Ruthless meaning, like you say, the subtle things, the things that wouldn't sound good to people because at this stage they wouldn't understand it. Now maybe I shouldn't even be asking these questions because you probably wouldn't tell me either. But compassion is the best thing to say. But if you actually said something that would rile up their self-importance, their ego, it would totally give the wrong message, and yet it would be the right answer. I'm sure that you have to do that all the time. Is that
sometimes?
So what was my question? My question was,
what is my ruthless?
Yeah.
What is my ruthless answer?
Yeah.
My message is very simple. Ruthless message. I don't have no ruthless message, but my message is like, I wish that everybody have the right knowledge when they bang the nose.
When they what?
When the nose bang, when the nose bang, when the girlfriend dump the boyfriend, or the or husband beats the wife. I don't know, whatever, or you lose your $1 million, check account, or somebody bang you. I don't know, whatever you hit. The worst emotional thing that happened. That time, think a little bit about deeper. Why you have that? What is the reason behind you have? That is the question. I don't have no ruthless now with the world. I'm going to say you're all stupid. That I'm going to say. Judgment, stupid. Searching spirituality, but you don't know what it is spiritual means. You don't know what you're searching for. You wish we're happy, but you do all the stupid things, and your wish is right. Your wish is North Pole, and what you do in the South Pole, you're wishing that is the same thing. That is the stupid people right now in the world. So you guys all like that, include myself. Yes, that is the ruthless message.
Yeah,
you want that, and this is the ruthless message.
Are you okay with that being?
I don't know.
Shown? It's funny because there's a guy from Vancouver called David Suzuki, who's a very well-known and very respected geneticist who's always promoting the environment. And he's like in his 70s now, and he's just been his whole life he represents the movement towards a better world, right? But I've tried to get an interview with him, but he said he's so discouraged and he thinks he's failed, and that it's lost. In a way,
it's true.
In a way, I'm sorry that he doesn't say that publicly, because that would be like a bit of a wake up call to people who think it's just all going along well. Do you know what I mean? And maybe from your point of view, it all is going well, because it could only go the way it's going to go.
No. We are very we Buddhist practitioner. We live in the reality. That's why I use skillful means. That's why I use word of knowledge, knowing, understanding, skillful means, dignity. Why? Because we live in the world. We can't just say everything is well. We can't live in the fiction idea. Right. We live in a world, but then you need to know the world is actually based in your mind. Right. So this is how I'm going to explain.
So wouldn't you also say then what you're trying to do is help shape the mass mind?
Definitely. Yeah. The mass mind, slowly, bits by bits. Because I know you have 10 family that become village. You have 100 family, bigger village. You have 1,000 family, small town. We know that. And country is based in million. No problem. But that's why my message is not only being Buddhist, but really right message right now. My understanding is education. Really education is the best. But now I see, all the liberal mind, good-minded people, all they sort of keep quiet. They're doing their best, but mostly sort of no action. I don't see enough. put in the money, put $1 billion in education, but the right education, that is going to be change the world. You only have stupid schools, then you produce stupid people, and stupid people do stupid things. That is very natural. That is what. Sometimes I feel disappointed. I am sorry to hear the person who is, he feels discouragement. Of course, definitely I feel sorry, but he shouldn't think like that. Every compassionate, I'd give message like this. Here, you need knowledge, understanding, right knowledge. And here, you need right compassion, the great compassion. But in the gut, you need dignity. With these three, you can create world nicely. Without the three, one of them, you cannot create world. So I have a wisdom, I have a compassion, but I should have the dignity, not the will, but the dignity. Dignity never goes down, stays up.
Can I ask you maybe to define those things? It's a funny thing with words, like you were saying earlier. We have all these words, and everyone gives their own meanings attached to them.
Yes.
So if you could say what compassion is and what dignity is, well, maybe go through all three, if you can, if you don't mind.
I don't mind. I don't. The knowledge, I'm actually saying that the knowledge should be to understand what does it really mean to be happiness. To understand right happiness meaning. And I actually explain happiness is comfortableness. So understand the comfortableness. In the knowledge, the second knowledge is how to gain this comfortableness. Why I'm not having comfortable? Or because of my negative emotions, or having a positive emotion that I'm attached to. Because I have countless judgment and nonsense thinking. That's why I don't have no comfortableness. All right, that is a knowledge. Number third, do you really see that? And you really recognize that? Do you really admit that? Yes, that is number third knowledge. That is knowledge here. You see, willing to change, to understand, But you have this, it's not good. You can be good, but you're not being expressed well. So in the heart, you need to have right compassion. With that understanding, I have comfortableness. I need to have comfortableness. And secondly, I have a lot of nonsense thought, like a negative emotion attached to the positive emotion, or nonsense judgment. Number third, I saw it, I recognize it, I admit, everything. After that, in the heart, you need to express compassion. Compassion meaning what? Compassion means when you feel comfortable to yourself, you know how to get comfortableness. Why I'm not comfortable? You know that. With that, you gain compassion very automatically. Seeing your own parents, your own wife and children, and extended families, and friends, and colleagues, companions, and go far countries, and the whole world. Everybody wants that comfortableness. So you gain compassion. Compassion means what? I wish every sentient beings to be free, or human being to be free from all this negativity emotions and positive attached to the positive emotion and the countless nonsense judgments. I wish they be free from that. And that is real compassion. And that compassion must need, again, the skillful way to give the message, express. That compassion must need that knowledge. Here, compassion need that knowledge. That particular compassion must need aspiration. Aspiration is the way that everything changes. So that is hard. Now you have good knowledge. You have good compassion. But you want to do something to the world. But you can't. You cannot. You can't. Why? Because you feel you cannot do much. You cannot change the world much. World is too crazy. World is too changing to negative. You cannot that. That we call, before you start the work, you already failed. So that means you are some word coward or loser. I'm sorry to say. You know, in my I don't have no many vocabulary, so I only can think about these two words, right? So the really deep down is a gut. In the gut, you have this dignity. Dignity has a will. Dignity has that the feeling that I can do it. The dignity has the quality of the knowledge and compassion that can really have a deep understanding of egoless, comfortableness, egoless, less judgment, and that has a base of dignity. And because you're compassion, you want to give the message, but something fail. You don't feel right away because you have that dignity, because you don't judge. Why you feel loser? Because you judge. You see, so that's why you don't have the dignity correctly. So you have a knowledge here, the right knowledge, right compassion with the knowledge. That compassion and the knowledge combined, you have this dignity. Then you can achieve anything in a spiritually or worldly. You can achieve that.
Thank you very much.
Now my job is done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.